All right. I think that's a good enough place as any to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Welcome
Week
back.
1 is in the books.
Welcome back to the TBS Sportscast. It's
And week
Booze.
1 was wild.
Yes. And if you're a kicker, I'm so sorry.
You're probably finding a new job.
Oh, hold
Like Rodrigo
on.
Blankenship.
Only one of them is looking for a new job.
Only one of them so far.
Far.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, like they would have been cut by now. But like, who? Wait, so if they cut Blankenship, who did they re-sign?
That's a good
Nobody.
question.
They're going to trade for Justin Reed from the Chiefs.
Because I mean, if they cut him, then that means they had to have signed somebody to practice before Sunday.
Chase McLaughlin, I think, is who they're going to go with.
I have no idea who that
kicker
is.
on their practice squad.
Neither do I. That's just according to the Indy Star.
I just thought of that scene from like the Flash. It was like the Flash cartoon where like Lex Luthor was inside the Flash's body, and he's like, "Finally, I get to learn who the Flash is." And he like took off the Flash's mask. He's like staring in a mirror.
League Unlimited.
Yeah, he's like, I have no idea who this is.
I thought, when you said the Flash, I thought you were thinking about like the fucking CW show where it's just like, do you trust me with every cell in my body, like every fiber in my being, or whatever the fuck that. I do not like the fucking CW DC stuff, but that's another podcast for another time. But yeah, no. What about I guess we'll start with our picks.
Yeah. Brendan, you got the list of them, so I'll let you take it over here.
I'm trying to find it. I cannot find it.
I found mine. I don't have his.
Let me bring up the Masters right now. Well, everybody knows their own, at the very least, so we can start off with that. But so to recap week 1, I got 5 out of my 6. The Titans let me down, but it's okay because that means that the Giants won. And
you hedged your bet, and
their first fucking you hedged the same bet. But our first winning record in 6 years,
which is insane.
Pretty crazy.
Well,
pretty crazy to think about that.
It's not a winning record, is it? You're just 500.
No, they're 1-0. That's
we're 1-0.
Oh dumbass. Yeah, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not used to this
math. Like,
I'm also like very sick right now.
Oh, you didn't say anything about that.
He got the Rona.
That's all right, man. The show's got to go on. I don't have Rona. No, I just have like a really bad sinus infection / sore throat.
Now that you say it, I can hear it.
Yeah, I feel like shit, but I'm all right.
So, according to the Masters, so I finished week 1 with 5 of my 6 points. Liam finishes with 2 of his 6 points. And Puz finishes with a fat donut.
Yeah, I got really let down a lot of my games, and they were all close games, too. Kind of sucked.
So, I mean, I know that fucking Saints game was close, though. Like,
the Saints game very well could have gone the other way, but the Falcons, the Falcons cannot get out of their own way and stop blowing 98% chance to win games. So, once you see that the Falcons have a 98% chance to win, you're like, it's in the bag.
Go to FanDuel and start betting against them. You're going to get a lot of money.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Vegas has turned the worm on them now. So to review, to review our individual teams. Puz, your team played first on Thursday Night Football in the opening game. How did they do?
Well, we all know how they did.
I mean, it's a really fucking stupid question, but from a Bills fan's perspective, how did they do?
From a Bills fan, well, I will say from our perspective, like the three of us, we were all pretty damn close, at least on that prediction. Like we all knew the Bills were going to win. We all picked the Bills to win on that one.
We all had them getting at least 30 points.
Yeah, I mean, I was more like they're going to win by at least 10. And I thought it'd be a little closer.
we overestimated the Rams.
Yeah.
That's the main takeaway, was that the Rams are not who they thought we were.
Oh my God, no. Like that was like the first half. I mean, it ended the half, remember, it was like 10-10. So it was kind of like, all right, maybe it's a game, but that was like just turnovers like crazy. But then the Bills just kind of started clicking, Allen only missed, I think, 3 passes, and one was like a weird bobble interception. So
that was not his fault.
Nah, he made like 2 or 3 actual incomplete passes that were just kind of like really pushing the pass like out of bounds. But dude, if that is a sample of what we're gonna see in the Bills games for the rest of the year, Jesus, like this is gonna be a fucking nutty season with them. I mean, Aaron Donald completely not even a problem during the game, because the game plan was just to get rid of the ball quick. That was it. And then
is
in
it
fact,
possible? Yeah, go on.
I was also saying that Allen also had the forethought, I guess, like in a post in a couple post game interviews. They asked him about the deep pass to Diggs, and he's like, I didn't see Aaron Donald, so I just told Diggs to go. He's like, I'll have time to throw it. Just run.
Is it possible Aaron Donald, now that he's been paid and he got a ring, that maybe he's just checked out?
I don't think so. He still played like a dog, man.
No, I don't think so, because he's
very
much still in his prime. He's not checking out for at least another 3 or 4 years.
I think
he wants to go back to back. Yeah, I think he's fine too.
Yeah, but I think Super Bowl hangover is gonna, like, I don't think the Rams are gonna do much. In fact, the NFC West kind of looks really weird right now. Like, I don't have confidence in really any of those teams.
Well, we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, that's true.
So next up, what on the Sunday docket was the Ravens-Jets game. Liam, would you like to recap?
Yeah. So the Jets lost. It wasn't great. We ran a little statue out there as quarterback. 37 years old. Joe Flacco was just awful. I know that the stats are going to say, like, oh, he threw for like 200 some odd yards. That was like almost all in garbage time. The Ravens had the game basically locked up by then. They just played soft prevent defense. And honestly, it worked, because like we got our only touchdown of the day. I believe with only like about maybe 2 minutes left. It was in the fourth quarter. Like it was garbage time. Like it didn't matter.
Joe Flacco in the first game of the season threw 59 passes.
Yes, he did. This is elder abuse. So call Life Alert, please. The defense was good. I know that there's been a lot of talk about, we kept Lamar in check, which I didn't think we were going to do. We kept the offense.
Lamar had 17 rushing yards.
Yes, which is insane.
You did a pretty good job there.
And our corner duo of DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner was probably the best corner duo in the NFL last week. So I heard
Sauce Gardner had a relatively fantastic game.
He did.
Like he had one catch for 8 yards.
Yep. So, one team down, they're lost in the sauce. The offensive line was bad. Special teams was bad. I think we're kind of looking for a new punter. Flacco wasn't good. Defense, big bright spot, but really the biggest thing was after the game and Coach Robert Saleh just being like, we're keeping receipts. And I know that he meant that the media guys is keeping receipts, but from what I've heard, a lot of Jet fans have taken they've taken that comment to heart. I'm not really sure that they should, but obviously Jet fans are impatient. We haven't made the playoffs in over 10 years. Doesn't look like we're going to make it again this year.
It's only 1 week, but you're right.
But, look, it's 1 week, but it's one thing to be like, to have all these catchphrases, all gas, no brakes, 60%, like, this, that, like, if it doesn't show up on the field, it gets really annoying. and you just I can't. Like I am actually. We'll get to the preview of the games coming up, but
yeah,
I think they have to show something against the Browns. I know that there's no Zach Wilson, but the fact that Flacco looked like ass and still he's getting the starting job for Sunday.
Tree put it the best where he said that Joe Flacco is riding one playoff appearance
yes
for his entire career. End of time.
He's riding one stretch of playoffs where he was actually decent, and for whatever reason, well, actually I know the reason. Part of the reason is that our GM Joe Douglas is one of the people who drafted Joe Flacco because Douglas worked for the Ravens, so he's still like so convinced that Flacco can be somebody, and it's just like, at least start my fight.
He could have been somebody 5 years ago.
He's like a slightly younger Brett Favre.
Well, without the,
Yeah. Well, I guess I shouldn't have brought that up.
Yeah, well, I mean,
not a lot of arrows up on the Jets, unfortunately, but
no, defense is the biggest arrow up, and which is good because last year our defense was pretty bad, but
yeah, I mean, it's like 24-9 was the score for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you have any semblance of an offense, and you have yourself a game.
Exactly, but we just didn't have the offense.
Holding a high-scoring offense like the Ravens to just 24, it's not too bad.
We had them at 10 points at halftime. It was 10-3, I think. So I mean, they were doing good. It was just like, and they were getting the ball in the second half. So it was like, okay, you have an opportunity here. Like, just don't go 3 and out in the first drive. And I think they went 3 and out, and I was just like, okay, that's it. They're done.
Game over.
Like, they're not going to win.
All right,
and even
Brennan,
then, it's not even really about winning. But yeah, go on. Because
it's kind of about progress.
How about your Giants?
How about them Giants? I mean, like I said, okay, so there's a lot of there's a couple of constants in this world, all right? There's 3 things you can be assured of, okay? There's death, there's taxes, and there's the 0-2 Giants. One of those is not going to happen this year, and I don't know how to feel. All right,
well, that's it. There's no more dying,
Yeah. Like, the Giants have started 0-2 in like 9 of the last 10 seasons or something like that. Outside of the year where we won week 1 in Dallas on a fluke play. The team, I can't really say that they looked objectively better, but they played with a lot more of that fire that we haven't seen under the past couple of head coaches, and I think that Daboll is already leaving that effect on people, like throughout training camp. The going for 2 option, I'm a guy who kind of just looks like it wins and losses, but like, I think if we had gone to overtime, we would have lost that game. So I can't fault him for it. And he's being aggressive. He's laying his dick out on the table. And it ends up working out. So it works out in his favor. And I think this is going to have a more positive effect on the team overall, because I think there's got to be a huge psychological impact to starting off the year 1-0 instead of 0-1. For the players that have been there for a couple of years, like Shep, DJ Barkley, Leonard Williams at this point is like one of our longest tenured players.
Crazy.
Yeah, our longest tenured player is Sterling Shepard, and he's been here since like fucking 2016, 2017. Like, it's crazy. For them, if we lose that game against Tennessee and we're 0-1, it's here we go again, And I could definitely see the energy getting sapped out of the team. But winning the first game and like getting that hunger back in a sense, like the team looks like they want to go out there and play, and they're not just like, all right, I'm doing this for a paycheck.
Yeah, what you're seeing is pretty much what the Bills saw in about 2018, or I guess you can go back to 2017 when McDermott was hired, and that's just like the beginnings of a culture change.
Yeah, before before Allen got there.
Yeah,
and you had to build from the ground up, and then you got Allen.
So like you got a coach now that's going to be like, I don't care, like
he doesn't care about the optics. He doesn't care about the New York media, and that is something that is going to really carry him.
Yes, and I think that'll carry your team too, because then he's not going to be making coaching decisions based on like, oh, the media is going to tear me apart for this, whether this or that. It's like, no, he's going to do what he thinks he needs to do to get wins. And I like that about him. And then at the same time, the players are going to respect the shit out of him. I mean, like look at like halfway through that game when Jones threw that shitty fucking turnover in the end zone.
That retarded ass interception.
Dable went over there and
and he's like, what the fuck are you doing, boy?
Yeah. Shoot him out, and you know what? He got on the field after that and had a pretty decent, I think it was a scoring drive on that one too. He got a touchdown that following drive, right?
Yeah, because I think that was all the time that was left in the game. We only had time for that one last drive, and it ended up being the touchdown.
And I think that's what Jones needs. Just a kick in the ass.
I think the boys were talking to Orlovsky on the show today about very, very much that, and he had a very similar situation happen to him, where he was like, I think the main point that Daboll was trying to put into Jones was the same point that Orlovsky got put into him. He's like, we were on the road, we lead this really long drive, and at the end of the drive, I throw an interception, and my coach brings me over on the bench, and he's like, bro, look at or it was the day after, he said, and he brings him in, and he wants to see film of the interception, and Orlovsky's like expecting to get chewed out for like, oh, you didn't stare down, you didn't look at your second read at all, or like the mechanics of the play. But the coach just wanted to show him, look at your offensive line after that interception. Look how deflated they are. Look how sad they are.
Look how you're making everybody feel.
Yeah.
You just led like an 80-yard drive in clutch time just to throw a pick, and they're all like, oh, like. And that could be very well the same thing that Daboll told Jones on Sunday. But to move on from that, as far as the actual game went, not much that wasn't expected happened. So like it was typical Giants play. Like Danny didn't show you really anything, right? He made the passes he should have made. He made the nice throw to Shepard that, like Tree said, is going to make you stick around and have false hope for him. Because he can make a deep throw once in a while. He took 5 sacks. The offensive line is still garbage. It was really nice to see Barkley come back to some semblance of his rookie form. You take out, I did the math. You take out his 68-yard run, he still averaged 5.6 yards a carry.
That's really good.
Yeah. No, he had a lot of big momentum.
Of course, he couldn't do this last year when I had him on fantasy.
Because he's not injured this time. He's actually like healthy for the first time in like 3 years.
The Giants as a whole had 238 rushing yards. Like, damn. I can't remember the last time we even got close to that.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, and some of that was even Daniel Jones on that nice little first down rollout and everything.
The Daniel Jones on a design QB rollout run on 4th and 1. That's just more aggressive play calling by Kaka. You gotta love it. And now that I think this was the hardest game they played they'll play in September. Because you look at it after this, I didn't even know who their 4th opponent was off the top of my head. But their next 2 games are Carolina at home and a Dak-less Cowboy team at home. They could start 3-0.
Yeah, they could very easily. I like that. And then the only other thing I would like to mention about that game is, goddamn, your 7th round draft pick, Tay Crowder, absolutely leveled Derrick Henry on a fucking nice.
I've low key I think everybody loves Tay Crowder from the moment he joined the team, from the moment he got drafted, because he was a 7th round guy.
Yeah, you always like to root for the underdog.
You always root for those guys.
He pretty much right off rip made the starting roster as a rookie, which, for a Mr. Irrelevant doesn't happen that often. And to go from that to having an impact as a starter and let's see. Like he was drafted in 2020, so this is his third year. He did go to Georgia, so it's a good defensive school. If there's any school you want your defenders to come from, it's Alabama or it's Georgia. So yeah, I can't say enough for the impact that he's had. He's like low key like a leader of the defense almost at this point.
Yeah, that was the only like little play that stuck out to me. I'm like, God damn, I have not seen Derrick Henry get upended by one guy.
And I showed you the clip of him shedding his blocker with like a
that was, and you know who that was? That was Luan.
Yeah, that was Taylor Luan. Yeah.
Like, not only did he shed that block, he swam through Taylor Luan. Fucking absolutely blew right by him. A sick play.
Yeah, great job, great team win, and like I said, 3-0 is entirely doable. And their fourth game is against the Bears, so 4-0 is not off the table.
All right, so to recap the rest of the games: Saints Saints win.
Falcons falconed.
Yep. Falcons did a falcon. The Baker Mayfield revenge game.
Baker Mayfield revenge game
did not go as well.
The first half was terrible. He really let him back in the second half, and he took the lead, and then the defense blew it. I'm just gonna go across on the SportsCenter ticker.
That's what I've been doing.
So we already did New Orleans. Chicago, San Francisco played in a monsoon.
Two rookie quarterbacks playing in a shitty monsoon.
Well, no, they weren't rookies; they're second years.
They're the first time they're starting.
No, Fields started last year.
Oh, really?
That's enough.
Started a few games last year as well.
That's enough. It's Andy's turn now.
Yes.
Steelers Bengals almost ended in a tie.
Yeah, we did get a tie.
We did get a tie, but that comes a little bit later. Philly and Detroit. Detroit, you're so close. I want you. Oh my God! Look at Liam. Look at the fucking game summary on Yes. Torres 3 for 4, Little League home run.
They put it.
They put it. That's amazing. Detroit, so fucking close. I really wish you beat the Eagles.
Yeah. I'll be honest, man. I think the Lions are still going to be good. That was a crushing loss.
Oh yeah,
holy shit.
They were right there.
Loss. That was a Campbell Lions loss right there. Close. They lost, but with heart.
All the heart in the world, baby.
Colts Texans tied. Dolphins beat the absolute shit out of the Patriots.
And some cars got motherfucking torched.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Carson Wentz played a traditional Carson Wentz game where he's good, bad, good. And the Commanders squeak past the Jags. The Baker revenge game. Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers couldn't buy a reception from his receivers.
Fun fact.
I'm pretty sure he threw him under the bus on McAfee, too.
Yeah, he's
concerned about how close he is with McAfee, but go on.
Yeah. And then I guess
Mahomes was disgusting against Arizona.
Yeah, to be expected.
It was basically perfect. What were you gonna say, Puzz?
Oh, I was gonna say that Chiefs Cardinals game, it wasn't even as close as it. Like 44-21. It was like 44-7 before garbage time.
Yeah, it was honestly that was a boring game. I'm pretty sure I went to go get food like while that one was going on, and I was just like, this is boring. I'm done.
Play by play. It was 37-7, and then it was 37-15, and then it was 44-15.
Yeah.
So can you go over the Chargers.
Justin Herbert is a GOAT.
Yes,
and outduels Derek Carr in what it almost was a Raider home game because that's just how the Charger Stadium is.
Yes.
But good game by the Chargers.
We have 2 games left.
Dak got hurt. Fucking Pog. Brady was kind of Brady was just kind of there, and
that wasn't a Buccaneers win. The Cowboys just lost.
The Cowboys are just not as good as they think they are. The Cowboys, because Jerry was like, I'm going to sell all my best pieces and plug them in with randoms, and we're going to be just as good. And then they're not just as good. And he's like, I'm mad.
They're missing Amari Cooper right now.
There's a couple interesting storylines, I guess, with that. First of all, Buccaneers, 1 touchdown? What the fuck are you guys doing? 1 touchdown?
that is what I would call a Todd Bowles special right there.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's some reason for concern for the Bucks, even though they won 19-3. They got what? There was like 5 fucking field goals in this game, and 4 of them were on the Bucks. I
have said for years that Todd Bowles is not that great of a head coach. He's a good defense. He could be a good defensive coordinator.
He was a very good defensive coordinator with the Bucks.
And he won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator. But as a head coach, he is not up to task. And people want to, pull out the old, oh, well, it was the Jets. It was no. The Jets make bad decisions. The Jets don't make them bad.
Yeah.
Like, he is not up. I don't think he's up to par to be a head coach. And, I'll eat my words if the fucking Buccaneers go and make the playoffs and win the Super Bowl and all that. But from my experience of having him as the head coach for 4 years and not making the playoffs, and his best year was with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ooh.
You should have made the playoffs that year, though.
We should have. And honestly, the only reason Fitzpatrick actually did so well had nothing to do with Bowles. Bowles does not touch the offense. It was Chan Gailey.
Yeah, but Chan Gailey worked with Ryan Fitzpatrick in the past, so you kind of got you guys had like a little bit of a head start on that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't, and his offensive style, his whole coaching style is, I'm a defensive coach, so my focus is going to be on the defense. Offense, I just need you to stay on the field and let the defense rest and let me do what I can do with the defense. And that is a very frustrating way to coach and watch as a game, I guess, as a fan.
Good segue. Speaking of frustrating, the Broncos Seahawks game.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Russell Wilson.
Nathaniel Hackett is a hack.
Yeah, he's aptly named for sure.
I mean, regardless of coaching.
That was some Anthony Lynn level clock management.
Yeah, it was bad.
God. Like, I mean, okay, you what was it? Like 4th and 4, you had a minute left.
4th and 5 with a minute and 15 left.
With a minute 15 left, and your options are go for it on 4th down or try to make the second longest field goal in NFL history.
With a kicker who has never hit more than 60.
With a kicker who has never hit that before.
You guys are jumping
You're not
around.
in Denver. You're in fucking Seattle. So you don't have the benefit of the less air. And it's like, anybody who's watched a modern NFL game in the past 5 years would tell you go for it.
Well, I think you're up ahead a little bit too, because like I don't think that was entirely what happened. Because like it was like 40 seconds, and they like let the clock run.
They let the clock run
down to 20.
Yeah,
20. They let it run for like 18 seconds down to 20 seconds for some reason, like some arbitrary number. Like they could have waited.
That was when the time, whatchamacallit.
Yeah, so they called the timeout at that point with 20 seconds left on the clock. They still had, I think it was a 3rd down at that point. I think.
No, it was going to 4th down.
It was 4th and 5. It was 4th and 5.
They could have gone for it. They could have even gotten the 1st down and stopped the clock with their timeouts to get closer. And it's just like, it was such a mind-blowing call, and good Lord. And then not only that though, how do you get on the goal line? Like 5 times they got into like the red zone and they couldn't punch it in.
Like, I didn't realize that. Like Tree counted it down. They had like 10 plays to get in the end zone, and they fucked it up every time.
And at least half of those were at the the half-yard line. And
you can't tell me otherwise. One of them was a butt fumble.
Well, it was a little different. That one didn't get recovered and went the other way, but. Yeah, like that was just like the Broncos.
Into the man's ass.
The Broncos should have won that game handedly with how many times they got to the red zone. Not only that, they should have covered the spread. Like it was just so bad. Like if the offense got into the red zone, he wouldn't have had to worry about his stupid time management at the end of the game. So,
and the thing is that if you don't fumble twice, like, you might come away with, I mean, at least one of them. If you don't fumble it, even if you get to 4th down, you could learn from your mistake and just be like, okay, kick a field goal. Field goal was the difference in the game, and you still win.
Yep.
Like, but I feel like the problem is that Hackett's gonna look at the game and he's gonna like go through like what he could have done differently, And instead of being like, oh, I should have, called this player, called this play, he's going to look at that 4th down and goal, like on the like half-yard line and go, I should have kicked the field goal. And it's like, no, that's not the takeaway. You got to be better, bro. Like,
I think he did in some of his post-game stuff, he's like, he acknowledged that so a lot of coaches will be like, I wouldn't change anything. Like, I made the call based on what I thought was right at the time, and I wouldn't have. Yeah,
he was like,
anything.
No, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I fucked up. He's like, he was at least straight about it. But yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yes, but it's a matter of how he fucked up and how he evaluates himself. That's going to end up kind of really defining his tenure as coach.
Yeah, for real.
Like, because if you come away with the wrong conclusions, you're going to be a bad head coach, and you're going to end up basically like the next Adam Gase. Just without Cope. But yeah, that's I think pretty much it for the last week's games. We have a game tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a barn burner.
Yes, it is. We got Chiefs and Chargers.
Oh, we get primetime Chiefs. Hot dog. Shit, man. I mean, Kansas City does not look like they're missing too much of a step. Like, I thought they were going to miss a step without Hill. I'll admit that. I'll be the first to admit that I thought they would look a little rough around the edges without having Hill in their arsenal. But shit, man, they still put 44 points. I mean,
how much of that is the Chiefs not missing a step, but it's also like Cliff Kingsbury might be working his way out of Arizona right now.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't really think there's really much of a defense in Arizona. Like, I mean, they got what? Buda Baker, safety? He's a safety, right?
I think so.
Yeah, well, I don't think the point is the personnel. I think the point is they're still reeling from last year's collapse.
And that was a collapse.
Well, they threw money at the thing, so
it's not Kingsbury's first collapse either. He's done this every single year, even in college.
Well,
first half starts off amazing, like 8-2. All right, sky's the limit, and then he drops like 6 or 7 to end the year, and is whoa.
Well, maybe, just maybe, he's flipping the script and he's just going to start off 0-8 and he's going to win out and play the best. Well, he's going to play his best football at the end of the year.
Well, that still means you miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, moving on to this game though. It's gonna be a slobber knocker or whatever they call them. It's gonna be a slugfest.
I am one to hype up the Chargers whenever there's an opportunity to do it because I just love the Chargers for whatever reason. I think they played great week 1. I think despite the fact that it was the Cardinals, I think the Chiefs played better. I think this is just gonna be. I think it's just the better team is just going to win, and I think it's going to be a really good game. But I think the Chiefs are gonna pull this one out.
I'll have to agree, but I will also say I won't be surprised if the Chargers do something and pull a win out of here.
Not at all.
I'm actually, I guess I'll go contrary then, because I think the new look Chargers, not new look, but like these Chargers, the Herbert Chargers, they're different. They feel like they're just about there. I think that they have the defense they have a much better defense, and they will keep Mahomes and the offense at least somewhat in check. And I think that Herbert and the Chargers offense is just it leagues ahead of anything Arizona can really put out onto the field right now.
Kansas City.
The issue is, so the Chargers upgraded, with like their big offseason piece was Khalil Mack, right?
Yes.
You don't blitz Mahomes. Every time you blitz Mahomes, he burns you.
But the thing is that the thing with Mack is that those sort of pass rushers where they need to be double teamed, they can help mean that you don't necessarily have to throw an all-out cover zero blitz at Mahomes, because you should absolutely not do that. That's a terrible idea. But it means that you can send 4 and drop back everybody else into cover.
So chiming in as a Bills fan, where all I know is this team has been built to beat Kansas City because that has been the one hurdle that we have not been able to get over. Yes, the key to beating Mahomes is not cover zero blitz. It's not blitzing. It's not disguised blitz. It's just getting to Mahomes with a 4-man rush. And you do that with guys like Khalil Mack who demand, more attention. And you do that with, just guys like Khalil Mack that really know their shit and get to the quarterback and can spread that knowledge out to other players on the team. Von Miller has done that for the Bills because with that Bills game that we played against the Rams, we blitzed one time, I think. Once. And we had 7 sacks?
Yeah.
We got 7 sacks on 4-man pressure, which is insane.
But Stafford is a far cry from.
No, I'm not saying you're not.
This level of movement.
But here's the thing, though. If you can get to Mahomes, and if you can get to Mahomes with a 4-man pressure, he's going to scramble. But where's he going to throw? Yes. You have a stacked secondary, because you didn't bring the house against them.
Not only that, I think you're banking on Mahomes to try and play backyard football because we saw it last year. When he plays backyard football, sometimes he fucks up. And sometimes he tries to force a throw and it will get picked off. And once you start amassing those interceptions and you start giving your offense more time, that's when things can start going your way.
Right. And I think that's what LA should do in this case. They should just keep their linebackers back. They should play zone, shell safety or double palms. I forget what it is, but the double high safety. Just take away the big plays from him. And I think that's what they kind of did. Kansas City did adjust. They don't really have the big play power anymore. But
without Tyreek, I don't think.
I was gonna say without Tyreek, you don't have anybody who can overpower the guys in that secondary. Yeah, exactly.
So they have to make him play patient diamond dunk football. And honestly, I think that Mahomes has kind of got that personality where you can bait him into a bad throw because he doesn't want to do the diamond dunk football. He doesn't want to get that easy completion for 3 yards and a tackle out of bounds or some shit. He wants to chunk people. And if he sees it, he's going to try to do it. And if you show him hey, this guy's open, but he's not, he might make that bad decision. And I think going back to this game, whoever wins this game is going to be who makes the less mistakes. If Herbert plays a clean game, maybe 1 turnover, but Mahomes makes 3, Chargers win. If the Chargers have 3 turnovers or something like that, and Mahomes doesn't have any, Kansas City wins. It's going to come down to turnover count probably.
In all likelihood, yes. I think it's going to be the Chargers. It's only going to be a 1-score game. I don't think, and I wouldn't be surprised if it were a high-scoring game, something 35-31 or
easy 60 points.
Although watch, it'll end up because it's Thursday night. It'll end up being a defensive slugfest, and
probably.
The Chargers will win 17-10. Or some weird bullshit.
Nah, fam. This is gonna be that Rams Chiefs Monday nighter.
I really hope it is because that would be an amazing game.
49.
I'm gonna say Kansas City 34-31.
I'll say Chargers 37-34.
I think I'm right there with Puzz. I never gave it a thought of a score.
Like Liam said, it's probably going to turn into a stupid 12-3 field goal fest or some bullshit.
Because it's it's Thursday. We didn't have enough time to prep our guys, so all of our offenses are super basic. Yep. But it's 2 really good quarterbacks. It shouldn't be that way.
31-27 Chiefs. I'll go with that.
I will say Chargers fans, I'm rooting for the Chargers, but
I'm rooting for the Chargers.
I am absolutely rooting for the Chargers.
I want that division.
I have to for fantasy.
I want that division to cause so many weird playoff situations come week 18.
Yes.
Where it's just if the Kansas City wins, the Chargers win, then Kansas City Chargers are in, the Broncos are out. It's like I want like 2 wild card teams to be in that division, because that means they're all kind of like beating each other up over it. You know, that's best case scenario for a Bills fan. Is that the Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, and the Chiefs are all just rock'em sock'em robots against each other, just beating each other up. Meanwhile, we run away with our division, hopefully. Sorry, Liam.
Nah. I kind of expect it. I mean, I don't know if you want to get into like, well, actually, I think we should probably start our picks now.
Yeah.
For the week.
First, we're gonna do the NFC.
Or no, I thought we didn't do picks.
No, we do picks and then we finish
We'll finish with the power ranking.
Okay. That's at least the order we did last week, so we might as well just stick with that. So what are your?
All right.
Who started last week with the picks? Was it me?
Doesn't really matter because I have the most points. So
okay, yeah. So you have the most points. So you can go first.
Yeah. So that's how the show does it. Puzzly, whoever usually has the best.
I mean,
week.
you can pick the same game, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. You got the music ready?
Oh, which one is it? Oh, right. What is it? It's
Gridiron something, I think.
I don't know if I added it to my.
You see this?
Or no, wait.
It's Thursday night, right?
No, it's
Berman?
it's Berman's recap music. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you see this post by fucking Trevor Bauer though?
Oh, the primetime song. All right.
Yeah.
We're queued up. We're good.
He like
really
retweeted
weird.
this woman. He's like, this was supposedly taken hours after she claimed I beat the shit out of her, and she's like totally fine.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
So that's interesting.
All right. Your pick first.
My picks. Well, I had a great week last week. Could have been a clean sweep except for the Titans, but that's neither here nor there. My picks this week are pretty straightforward. I think the most decision making I had to do was for the 1-point pick, and I'll start there. The scene is Cleveland, Ohio, the Browns versus the Jets. I wasn't going to pick this game, but I really don't think there was more of a slam dunk out there, and I don't want to just pick against the Jets every week. But I think the Browns with Brissett are going to do enough to hold off that anemic offense, especially if Joe Flacco starts again, which it sounds like he will.
Yep. No, it's confirmed he will.
Yeah. So no Mike White with Flacco playing unless he gets hurt. I don't think Cleveland is going to blow the doors off the Jets, but they are going to do enough to win, probably like a 17-7 type of game. All right. 1-point pick, Cleveland. My 2-point pick tonight on Dallas, hosting the Super Bowl representative of the AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals. No Dak. You've got Cooper Rush out there to try to carry what receiver core?
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush.
Yeah, who's even left? Like you got Gallup and Lamb, and that's kind of it.
The bones of Brian Hoyer.
Is like Will Smith at the end of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's just standing in a room. He's standing in a room.
He's standing in a room. We got robbed, and there's nobody there.
Somebody called Brian Hoyer.
The leading receiver for the Dallas Cowboys last week was Noah Brown.
Oof.
Exactly. I think Burrow is going to work out the kinks from last week's game at Pittsburgh. I think he got like a month's worth of interceptions out of his arm. I think as long as he stays away from Trayvon Diggs, he should have a decent game. And I think the Bengals receivers can outrun the Dallas secondary. I have the Bengals winning on the road in Dallas as my 2-point pick. And my 3-point pick. It can't be said enough that you cannot trust the Atlanta Falcons. And this week they are playing the defending champion LA Rams in LA. I think the Rams will get right. I think they'll use this as a get right game. Mariota might, do some stuff to make it a little interesting, but I think that this is going to be a back to form game for Matthew Stafford and the LA offense. I have the Rams winning at home for my 3-point pick. So once again, my 1-pointer, the Browns. My 2-pointer, the Bengals. My 3-pointer, the Rams. Liam, you are next.
Yes, I am next. So I'm going to start off with my 1-pointer. This is kind of a difficult week, I think. Especially in the 1 o'clocks. The 1 o'clocks really don't speak to me. And I really don't want to bet against the Jets, much as I think that they are going to lose. So I think actually for my 1-pointer, I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here. I'm going to go with the Purple People Eaters on Monday night.
Ooh.
Oh, against the Eagles.
Vikings beating the Eagles. I thought the Vikings were super impressive against the Packers. They shut Aaron Rodgers down, even if Rodgers may have been high on, peyote or whatever the fuck. I mean, it finally feels like the Vikings have they've taken the leg weights off, and everyone was like, "Oh, come on! Like, how bad could Zimmer or whatever the fuck have been?" And then they just explode, and it's a Rock Lee moment, and now they're just like they're free to just do whatever.
Now
Justin
they're all
Jefferson,
gas, no brakes.
yeah. Justin Jefferson is a god. Dalvin Cook is great. Kirk Cousins
is just there.
I thought that could have been a triple play. Did you see?
No, I saw it. Yeah. Don't. Yeah, don't ruin the flow though. But so for my 1-point pick, I'm gonna go with the Vikings beating the Eagles. For my 2-point pick, I do agree about the Falcons. I don't think you can trust them. And as much as I think that the Rams are hungover from the Super Bowl, I think they are still talent-wise a far superior team than the Falcons. So for my 2-pointer, I think the Rams, they're going to avenge themselves from whatever it was last Thursday. I think they're going to get the ship a little bit more right. They're going to destroy the Falcons.
They're also on 10 days rest.
Yes, they are on decent rest as well. And for my 3-point play, they don't have Dak Prescott. I am going to take the Bengals over the Cowboys. I think it's a slam dunk. Burrow, even if he's not right, I think we saw last week that even when he's not in tip-top shape, he's still a decent quarterback. And the Cowboys, best player on them with Dak being out is probably Micah Parsons. And even if Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons, but he's no TJ Watt.
They got Diggs on the secondary too. Like
Diggs. Okay, all right. I can talk an hour about Diggs.
You can keep away from Diggs.
You can, and not only that, Diggs is a boom or bust quarterback. He is no Darrelle Revis. Nothing. He does not have an island. He's a ball hog. He tries to make calculated plays. Sometimes they work and he gets the interception. But a lot of the times
he fucks it up. And the receivers get he had the most interceptions, but he let up 1,000 yards of.
I don't know did he end the season with the most? I know he got seven games in a row or whatever early.
Yeah, I mean that's already a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he led the league in interceptions.
Didn't he get
and
11
yards allowed?
Did he finish with 11 last year?
I don't remember.
But yeah, so I think the easy pick for Sunday is Bengals, Cowboys. And they're in Dallas too. So two straight losses in Dallas. Oh man.
And Jerry Jones is going to be fuming. This is a soft dick pick. I love this pick. Liam and I, you could say, we're in lockstep.
Yes, we are.
Right. Good picks. Going last is kind of rough because it's I don't want to pick all the same stuff you guys do, but I'll do my best on this one. Because I got a big ass goose egg, so I got to get some picks that are at least worth a damn.
I mean, it's all right if you thought of these ahead of time and you want to stick with them.
Yeah, no. We're early on.
No. I what is this? Just for a little video game? Fuck it. No, we gotta make it interesting, right? That's what I gotta do. All right, my 1-point pick. He owns them. I'm going Green Bay over Chicago.
He does own them. He does own them. I thought about this too.
I did.
Green Bay at home, Sunday Night Football against a team that Rodgers has just had the number for the past however many years.
I love this pick.
And I also think Rodgers is pissed that he lost.
We got pissed off. We have pissed off Aaron Rodgers at home Sunday Night Football
against the team he owns the stake in.
Against a team that's probably a little high on themselves after winning that game against San Fran. So recipe for a disaster. I'll put my 1 point pick on that game. Green Bay.
That's not a recipe for disaster. I like that.
That's a good pick.
It's a cocktail. It's a brewing over there. All right, 2 points. I'm going to go with a little bit of a safer pick, I think, on this one. Game that we've already mentioned a couple times. I'm going to take Cincinnati over Dallas because Dallas ain't got much going for them right now. Cincy's also playing pissed off because they've just barely lost a game. So yeah, I'll take that one for the 2-pointer. And just to make it interesting,
turn two. Fuck.
Just to make it interesting, I'm gonna take my 3-pointer. We're taking Detroit over Washington, baby.
Oh,
they play with heart. They play with so much heart. They're gonna need more heart, and they're gonna rip it out of Washington after that. After the Washington won barely somehow last week.
Oh man, you gotta hope that shitty Carson shows up.
Well, shitty Carson's going to be traveling up to Detroit, so I'm going with a little bit of a home field advantage. I think Detroit fans, even though they lost last week, that home opener is going to be fucking bonkers because I think they love this. They love that coach. They love this team.
Last week was the home opener.
Oh, okay. So they're just playing double home then?
Yeah, they're playing double home.
Gotcha. So yeah, like they're just going to be bonkers. I think this fan base is just in love with what they got going on up there. So they're going to be hungry for a win. I think those players are going to be hungry for a win. They nearly got a win last week. I think they're going to, this is going to be a statement game, I think, for them. And they're going to take it out against Carson Wentz and his fourth consecutive team in 3 years or whatever the fuck.
I definitely could see this happening. I mean, they played the entire NFC East this year. So they've already lost their chance to beat one of them, but the Commanders are not as good as the Eagles. As much as I hate to say it, as much as I hate to give like the Eagles any sort of credit. But Washington just isn't as good a team on paper, and they played the Eagles almost to a tie. So
right,
came back in the fourth quarter down multiple scores. They could do it. I'd give them like. They're gonna
go 500
chance to win that game.
They're gonna hit 500 this week, and that team is gonna be over the moon.
I like it.
I'm going for that. And then you know what? I know this is kind of like unprecedented, but I want an honorable mention because we haven't mentioned. We didn't bring up this matchup, but come on, how can we not talk about Indianapolis Colts at Jacksonville?
Oh no!
Yeah, the rematch.
The rematch from the game last year where that cost the Colts their chance of going to the playoffs.
I thought you were gonna bring up the Bills home opener.
No, I mean we'll talk about
Tennessee.
That's gonna be
going to it.
Oh, absolutely, season ticket holder. It's gonna be bonkers. But no, this game sticks out to me because they're different teams now. Right? Like, they don't have... who do they have last year? Wentz? They don't have Wentz anymore. They got Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan and that fan base and that team is like, we can't let this fucking happen again. So either they're going to fucking go in there and just blow out Jacksonville and be like, good. We're going to put that... We're going to bury that a little bit. Now that's... We already got that skeleton out of the closet, so to speak, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But if they lose...
if they lose, the Colts are just going to implode. Yes. Because at that point, they're just going to be like sitting there, like just, what the fuck is going on?
They're going to be, if they lose, they're going to be 0-1-1.
They're going to be 0-1-1 and 2 games against the worst teams in their division. They've choked them away.
Yes.
Like those are two easy wins on your schedule. And you know, they're going to be tank division this year because the Titans probably aren't as good as they were.
I think the Titans still run away.
I see the Titans winning that division with like 10 wins.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know.
Titans could be 8-9 and still probably end up with the
Titans lost to the New York Giants, man. They're I don't know, but they might be able to run away with it. But honestly, like if any of these other teams like Indianapolis and all that, like we might be like at week 10 and just be like, man, that division's still up for grabs. But yeah, that's gonna be a fun one to monitor. In addition to our picks, I didn't want to put a pick on it, but I did want to at least mention that that's gonna be must watch for me this weekend for sure.
Yep. All right, picks are locked in. Good luck, gentlemen.
All right, I can't wait to end this whole. I can't wait to end this whole entire show with like 4 points. It's gonna be great.
You'll get it.
All right. Well, anybody else want to mention anything about a specific game before we move on?
Nope.
For week 2, I'm just looking it over again.
We've pretty much scratched on most of them except for maybe Miami at Baltimore.
Miami, Baltimore.
That'll be a good game to watch too.
I think it'll be a good game. Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Apparently, Orlovsky went all in again today and said the Saints are going to win that game.
Oh, that's oh my God. I mean, the Saints barely won their game last week.
I know that the Saints have beaten the Buccaneers before, and they can do it again.
They can.
But I trust nothing what Dan Orlovsky says.
It'll be interesting to see if the Seahawks can make it 2 in a row against the Niners.
Well, speaking of Dan Orlovsky, guess who's actually calling our game this week for the Bills? Dan Orlovsky.
But you're the Monday game.
Yeah. But it's like a doubleheader Monday, so he's like involved, I guess, somehow. Let's see. Bills, Titans. What do they call those? Casters? Announces broadcast crew. Steve Levi. Louis Riddick. Yeah, so Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky will handle analyst roles, sorry. Mm-hmm. Fun. I can't wait to watch a Bills game. But Dan Orlovsky's like, he's not Nick Wright. You know, like Dan Orlovsky turned around on the Bills lately.
Steelers Patriots in week 2 will be the first game without Brady or Roethlisberger since 1998.
Damn.
Drew Bledsoe versus Cordell Stewart.
Wow. That's actually I'm here for that. I'm here for these kind of stats. All right. You guys ready to move on to the power rankings?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to
this is going to be week 1 told us almost like nothing on these power rankings. I think that like the bottom half of these teams can all be interchanged with each other.
Yeah, there's not like
there's no hierarchy like the AFC.
B tier, C tier. Like it's really just like half of you are shit and half of you are making the playoffs.
And we have to factor in like their week 1 performances. Like if we had done this last week, you know, I think the Cowboys are going to be a lot higher. But now,
yeah, we're gonna be a little skewed now. Yeah.
All right. Well, who wants to lead it off with the worst team in the NFC?
I let it off with the AFC, so why don't I let one of you guys lead off with the NFC?
All right. Well, I let off with the picks, so Puzz, you can lead off with the NFC.
I'll take the first round pick on the baddies. Let's see here. This was a tough one to prepare for because you weren't sure, like.
We don't really know a lot about the NFC, to be honest.
I mean, neither do I. I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers, I think.
As the worst team?
Yeah.
I mean, no revenge tour for Baker. Wow, way to misplay
that. Any team with Sam Darnold on its roster. Yeah.
But they also got XFL MVP PJ Walker. Who am I kidding? He's not any good.
I don't think Matt Rule's got what it takes. You know what I mean? I don't know. Matt Rule's had time.
I think we've let him go on long enough to make that claim. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's just like, I mean, Baker is going to make the team probably better than what they were last year, but I just think there's something wrong with personnel. Like, I don't know if they're drafting right. They got good pieces. I just feel like when I watch a Panthers game, I should be watching a better game. But every game that I watch with the Panthers this year, last year, whatever, I'm like, this team just looks completely unorganized. So I'm going with Carolina Panthers just because I haven't seen much up out of them. That's it.
Last year it was a hodgepodge of Sam Darnold and washed up Cam.
Yeah.
Well, they just brought Cam in to fill seats at that point. That's all that was.
Yeah, but he could not win them a game.
No, he got like, didn't he win one?
He won one. And was that
he won one and lost like 4?
Yeah. Cam is like, I forgot what the stat was, but Cam is like 2-19, like in his last 20 some games.
Yeah.
Like every game he starts, he like loses most.
Let me tell you, ever since the Super Bowl loss, Cam has not been the same.
Man, it's pretty fucking done. All right. So Liam went first, so that means Brendan, you go second then. Who do you think is second from the bottom?
Sure. Second from the bottom, I think it's kind of between two teams, but one of them is 0-1, and that is the Atlanta Falcons.
Yup.
I kind of would have pegged Atlanta to be the worst team, but the Panthers kind of, okay, yeah. We've said it before, and I'll say it again. Can't trust them. Cannot trust them with a win. They've cleaned out the coaching staff, but they're just devoid of talent. I mean, name a Falcon other than Mariota, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, or Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah, you got me.
Calvin Ridley.
They were. They were projected to win like 2 games this year. I think they are right on pace. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to finish dead last in this division. They'll be competing for the number 1 overall pick in April. And Torres with a high drive to center field. He dropped it.
Yep.
Okay, Liam, who is the third worst?
I think I know who you were going for in terms of who's 0-1 and who's 1-0.
I think that gave it away.
I think I'm gonna assume you're gonna go with the Bears.
No, I was not gonna go with the Bears.
Oh, okay. I guess you were gonna say the Commanders then.
Hey.
Okay, well, no, all right, I'll stop trying to guess, but I am going to go with the Chicago Bears. I know that the Bears won, but they won in a monsoon. That was basically a snow game without snow.
It was a rain game.
Yeah, it was a fucking monsoon. I still think the Bears are not set up for any sort of success whatsoever. I think that, they got rid of Nagy and, but I don't think they have the offensive line. I don't think they have the wide receivers. I think Fields is going to have a pretty tough time. The defense, they got rid of Khalil Mack. They traded him to LA. So it's like, who do they even have on defense anymore? I think, a safety? Like Eddie Jackson, I think. I think that's their best defensive player. And I can speak from experience. When your best defensive player is your safety, things probably haven't gone very well for you.
Jamal Adams.
No, Jamal Adams. So, yeah, I think that even though the Bears won last week and they beat the 49ers, I still think that they're going to finish top 5 or at the very least, like top 7 when the draft when the draft comes around. So I'm going to say Chicago.
I can't even root for the Bears to be bad anymore because we already used that pick that we got from the Bears last year.
Yeah.
That was the Neil pick.
Yeah.
Or no, that was was it Neil? Yeah, it was the Neil pick.
Yeah.
All right, Puz, back to you.
All right, I'm gonna go off of what I would have picked had we not seen week 1 games. And
no,
I think
I think you could say like you could take week 1 into account.
all right.
But
I mean, because like, okay, I will go over it later. No, you know what? I think it's still fair to kind of put him down here. Because, like, okay, so without going too far into it, like, we had an injury to one team, obviously, that really affects, like, where you would rank them now. And then another team we kind of thought was going to be bad, but turned out to be, like, decent enough to squeak out a win. There was a couple teams like that. So, I don't know. If I'm trying to go off of, like, current, what I think right now after week 1, there's 2 teams I'm looking at. Probably the Niners.
Really?
Probably go with the Niners here.
Very, very interesting pick.
Very
here.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Very spicy.
I just don't know enough about the NFC, so I'm maybe making some poor choices here.
I don't think this is necessarily a terrible choice.
I just think they're pushing their quarterback situation a little too quick. Like, I think they probably should have went with Garoppolo to begin with if they still had him. But putting in Trey Lance, like, now, I don't know. Like, I feel like the team isn't built around Trey Lance. I feel like when I watched Trey Lance last week, I'm watching a backup quarterback still. Like, I don't see that he's fully in control of the team. I don't see that he's fully in control, like, with the playmaking. I don't see him comfortable yet. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever see a backup quarterback and you're like, I could tell this guy's kind of uncomfortable with it. And that's just kind of what I see with Trey Lance sometimes. That's all.
That's fair. No, I think that's fair.
So I'm not saying they're a bad team. I just think that it's going to hold them back until he starts, like, making plays and starts looking comfortable, and he's like less green around the ears or whatever. That's all. That's where I'm going with my pick then.
I dig it.
Right. Time will tell. Lance definitely still has the experience of a rookie, so it'll be wait to see.
Yeah, and he's also like he got training from Garoppolo, like
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, maybe we're not really sure how much Jimmy is actually put into Trey. I mean, he might be still pissed.
Well, I mean, last season he may have, but I don't know. All right, Brendan, you're up.
Okay, well, it's managed to come back to me, and they still haven't been picked yet. So I will go with the team that it could have been on my last pick. The one that Liam could not get. I will go with the Seahawks.
Yeah, that was.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I would have probably put the Seahawks lower, but I saw yesterday's game, and I'm like, they look like they can do something.
No, I don't think yesterday. I don't think Monday's game really changed anything. Like, Russell Wilson lost to Geno Smith. That's just the brunt of it.
That's true. I mean, I'll give it to you. It's your pick.
Geno Smith, from watching him with the Jets, he's good for like a quarter and a half and then just disappears.
That is true.
He'll give you a couple good games.
He gives you a couple of good games. He gives you some good drives in those games. That first drive was fucking textbook. That was great.
But you rehearse those usually.
The first what, 20 minutes of the game is always scripted, something like that.
Yeah.
I
so
think
the first drive is always written down ahead of time, and they executed it perfectly, and they got a touchdown out of it. And they only scored 10 points. They only scored 10 points the rest of the game against the Broncos team that I'm not sold on.
I will say, in Brendan's defense, he is right, because I think I saw a stat. I don't know the exact thing, but like Seahawks defense in the second half, Broncos defense in the second half held Geno Smith to like something like 7 yards. Like, he didn't do shit in the second half.
Yeah, it wasn't really a Seahawks win so much. It was the Broncos just lost.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
The Seahawks just happened to just barely score enough points to fend them off.
That's fair.
All right.
So I think that they're like, I think that's what, 5th from the bottom in this case. So
yeah,
That's what, 11th or 12th? 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Okay, so that's 12th place. So
Yeah.
11th place.
I should probably be
11th
writing this
place.
down again.
Yeah.
Yeah. 11th place. All right. I think I'm going to go with a team from the NFC East. And it's not the Giants. I think I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders.
It's not the
As
Giants.
as the next team. There is something about Washington that concerns me. Outside of Carson Wentz and Scary Terry, I'm not sure I know about really anybody else on their team.
Jahan Dotson had a really nice catch for them in his debut.
Oh, right.
Really
he
nice
just got drafted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they have rookies, but do they have
he go the pick
stars?
after Garrett Wilson? Was he like 11th?
Did he? No.
Depth chart.
I thought he was later on.
He was 16th.
Yeah. But anyway, Carson Wentz don't think is very good. I think that, I think they're going to have questions all over the place. I think that they are a team kind of in limbo. I mean, they just got the name changed. No, you're not from Washington State. Put that off the coffee mug. Loser fucking thing to do. When thinking about the Commanders, I can't really say many good things about them. Like with some of the other teams, I feel like I could, but with them, it's just like, what's the bright side to them? I mean, yeah, you beat the Jaguars. That's not impressive. And I think that, and you barely beat the Jaguars, mind you. Like you kind of you kept them in the game. I think that the Lions are going to beat. I want them to beat the Commanders. I think they can, and if they do, I think that that's going to justify this pick. But yeah.
I think they're going to take a step up in the scariness if Chase Young manages to come back this year.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, Chase Young. Yeah, but he's injured a lot, so that's a problem.
He tore his ACL, so
yeah, it's tough. It's tough to come back from that.
But he tore it last year, so if the rehab is going okay, he might be able to come back by the end of the year. And if Washington is in the thick of the division, with all the division games at the end of the year, it could definitely make a difference.
How early into the season did he tear his ACL?
I think he said. I think it said. I just googled it. I think it said week 9 or week 10.
Okay, all right, but it still he's not coming back for at least another 5-6 weeks. I think at the very least.
It depends. I mean, White, I think, tore his in week 13-ish. Whenever Thanksgiving is when he tore his ACL, and he probably would have been back this week or next week, but it was just too close, so they had to put him on the PUP for 4 more weeks. Just due to how that is. I mean, everyone recovers from it differently, so we'll see. All right, so to recap, 16 we got Panthers, 15 we got Falcons. 14 we got the Bears, 13 49ers, 12 Seahawks, 11 Commanders. Is that about right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so we've each picked 2.
So you're up. Number 10.
Right. Number 10. Let me take a quick gander. Oh, we're starting to get into the spicy takes, I think, huh?
I think so. I see 2 teams here that I would pick, but
I also see 2 teams that I would pick here.
Yeah. Well, I see 1. I just I'll have to take the Giants at this point, I think. I feel like that's a little low for them. But
considering they just won,
true. But I mean, like, they just barely won. They did barely win against a good team, though. So there's not some about that. I just think that they don't have the pieces to be a great team yet, but they're already on the right track. So having them almost in the middle of the pack, I think, is a fair assessment.
They're still missing the most important piece of that, but yes. And one thing that I forgot to talk about when I was recapping the Giants game was, for the first time with all these new head coaches, I saw effective halftime adjustments.
Yeah.
The first half, they were dead. We were down 13-0 at halftime.
You won 21-20.
Yeah, that it speaks for itself. They came back really quick and tied the game. Defense gave up a touchdown after that, but offense threw that. Jones threw the interception, and then the Titans muffed the punt, which gave us great field position, and we scored the touchdown on that drive.
Yeah, but they muffed the punt, but that's also good special teams. I mean, I know that your guys were nowhere near the dude, so it is what it is.
It kind of just comes down to, I wouldn't say the Giants had good special teams to make Kyle Williams muff 2 punts in the NFC Championship game, but It is what it is.
All right, Brendan, who are you picking?
All right, well, if it wasn't going to be the Giants, and credit to them for making it this high in our reverse power rankings, but number 9 will be the Lions.
Yep.
Yeah, that was that other team I was looking at.
I think they're right. I think they're kind of where the Giants might be next year in terms of how much heart that they play with and how much grit that team has, despite not being great. They also have a quarterback issue with Jared Goff, but they just drafted a cornerstone piece in Aiden Hutchinson. They had that 6th round guy that beat out like their other 1st round pick or whatever it was that played really well on Sunday. I think the institutional changes are starting to take effect there. And they were last year too, but they were just so devoid of talent that is the reason why they didn't win. And they could have won more games. Like, we've been over this with the Justin Tucker kick and all that shit. They could have won another 2 or 3 games instead of the 4 or the 3 that they won or whatever it was. So they're taking a step in the right direction. They came so close to beating the Eagles. I definitely agree with your take that they could beat Washington this week. It's theirs for the taking. They just have to step up. They just have to close these games out, and I think they can get back to some form of relevancy. So Detroit at 9.
Okay. So that means I'm next.
You're next, number 8.
Number 8. Burger King footlet. No. I was gonna go with them. I think this team probably would have been higher had we done this last week. However, one major injury, and even though it's maybe not for as long as we thought, but even when he was in, didn't seem like they had a whole lot going.
Say the line, Liam.
It's them boys.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, that's
number
fair.
8. There is nothing about the Cowboys that I like. They are far cry from what they were like maybe even a couple years ago when it was like they were kind of a fringe playoff team. A
couple years ago they were like 13-3.
Yeah, but even then you can't trust them in the playoffs. They're basically a fringe playoff team in my book. And it's also the NFC East, so it's whatever. They don't look that impressive. They're going to be without Dak for the next 4 weeks. So you got to figure that's at least an 0-5, 1-4 start. Like, maybe they'll eke out a win. Probably not.
Their schedule coming up is the Bengals game. Giants on Monday Night Football.
Maybe they could beat them, but probably not.
The Commanders.
Maybe.
And then the Rams.
They're not winning that.
They don't have a marginally good chance of winning until week 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against Detroit.
Oh, and even then, I feel like Detroit, if they get some momentum behind their backs, they'll kick their fucking teeth in. Yeah, no, it's Cowboys. Number 8's Cowboys.
Yep. Definitely. Even if Dak was not injured, I'd still put them, like they maybe like a spot
I
or
would have
two
put them
higher.
like I would have put them like maybe 7th or 6th, but
No,
Dak's out.
they're not a top 5 team.
Honestly, they should be lucky that they're this high.
All right,
They're this high because everyone else is just worse.
At number 7, I have about 2 teams that I think are interchangeable as far as how far I think they're gonna go. I'm gonna probably shock some people here.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
I mean, my gut's telling me to say this team, but I'm like, you know what? This other team, I just think their chance or their window to be good is like rapidly closing, and I don't think they're as good as they should be. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I am so low on the Cardinals right now.
I am getting lower with the Cardinals every week. I mean,
I think Kingsbury wants out. There's so little trust. There's little trust in Kyler that they had to put in that fucking homework clause.
That's so weird too, because
weird.
When Kingsbury got there, he's like, "Hey, goodbye, Josh Rosen,"
which wasn't the bet. Which wasn't the wrong.
No,
that was the correct call.
Absolutely correct, but it's still, he's like, "I'm gonna get my guy," and he got Kyler, and then now he's like, "I don't know if this is my guy no more." But yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's a rocky boat over there. The weird, stipulation in the clause. They did sign him for a bunch of money. I mean, it's not like that should be rocky. I mean, if Cliff Kingsbury and him didn't have a good time together or didn't think they could win together.
No, but I don't think
I don't know. This is a weird situation, but yeah, like I'm going with Cardinals at number 7.
I think Kingsbury is he's trying to make a play for a college job again at some point. Probably a high ranking one too. I think he's slowly trying to get out of Arizona. I think that there's very little faith that they can really do anything, and I think that even ownership is like, you've collapsed like twice now, and
he's like, fine, I can't collapse if I'm already collapsed.
Exactly, and it's just like, fine, we'll just stay down.
All right, Brendan, who do you got at 6? We're gonna move it along. I hate the Cardinals.
This is wild. All right, I got 3 teams I could put here.
I can see it.
Fair, yeah.
3 teams, and one of them you never would have thought would be this low.
Well, I think I know what you're talking about.
I think you know who you're talking about too.
Yeah, you think you know?
We'll see.
But the question is, that means that X team would be better than this team, and I don't know if that's the case either. In a playoff matchup, I don't think I would take that team over this team.
I know exactly which 2 teams you're talking about.
There's definitely 2, and then the third one I think I know.
I know.
Yeah. The third, because we're just down to so few teams left. But factoring in week 1 and exposing the possible problems that they'll have this year, my pick at number 6 is the Packers.
Wow. Ooh. Okay. No, we're not on the same page at all.
I think me and Puzz are on the same page. Yeah. I don't think we're on the
All right, no, continue. Go ahead. We're putting them there.
So, pissed off Aaron Rodgers is one thing, but if pissed off Aaron Rodgers is no one to throw to, what does he do with all of his rage? Does he just hand the ball off to fucking Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon 40 times a game? They could do that. And maybe it's just, week 1-itis. I mean, remember last year, in week 1, they lost to the Saints 38-3. So week 1-itis is definitely a thing up there. And maybe it'll fix itself, but I think Aaron Rodgers is he's not only pissed off that he's got like a rookie core of receivers, but he's also kind of pissed off that he's still in Green Bay. Right. I don't know. I think like he's been another year in, year out playoff underachiever. That he's a tool.
Mm. No, I don't think so.
No, I think you've raised a salient point. So it'll be, like I said, a question of whether or not these problems continue to plague them for the rest of the year, and if they do get to the playoffs, because they are in a relatively weak division. Although, the Vikings this might be the year where the Vikings finally say, fucking enough. They might wrest the division out of their hands, but that means they're still probably getting in as a wild card. I really don't see them getting past the divisional round. I think that window has closed.
Oh man.
And now this is really tough because, like I said, the other team putting the Packers at 6 means this team is top 5. But I don't know if they could beat them in a head-to-head playoff game. But go ahead. Who is number 5, Liam?
Oof.
If you think you know who I'm talking about.
I'm not really sure because I thought you were talking about one team. And I was actually kind of hoping you were going to talk about them.
DM me who you thought I was going to put at 6. I just want to know.
Okay,
I won't say anything. But go ahead, tell me. Talk about 5.
I just DM'd you. Number 5. Who's left? So left is have we picked the Saints yet? It's what?
No.
Saints, Bucks.
It's
Saints,
Eagles,
Bucks,
Vikings,
Eagles,
Saints,
Vikings,
Rams, Bucks. Yeah.
Rams. I might just by process of elimination. Man, this is tough. I know, and I really don't think the AFC. But the AFC is so stacked that, like, if you were to combine these power rankings, these guys would not be top 5. Like, I don't even know if like maybe like the top 2 would be in the top 10, but the AFC is just so stacked.
I think number 1 would be a top 5 team, definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Saints. No Drew Brees. Yeah, they don't have Drew Brees. Sean Payton retired. I mean, Jameis he's okay, but and yeah, Michael Thomas. I mean, and Alvin Kamara, like they have the pieces. I'm just not sure about them putting it all together. I don't see it. Like with a better quarterback, they would probably be top 2. I think they could run away with the NFC, but with Jameis, and no, I don't see it.
All right.
So,
I mean, they have the skill positions there still. They've got like the weirdest fucking playbook in the world because of Taysom.
Yeah.
Their defense is still pretty formidable. I'd give them a top half defense rating. I mean, it was good enough for me to pick them in fantasy, but that was also because the defenses were starting to go.
Yeah.
But I think they're a top 5 team, a fringe top 5 team. I can agree with this. Now it is up to Puzz because I think 1 and 2 are pretty set.
I think so.
Where 3 and 4 go is really going to be telling here. So Puzz, who is number 4?
Okay, well, unfortunately, there was a malfunction with our audio, and apparently we were muted for a couple picks there. So that's unfortunate. That was my fault. I've been like coughing and hacking because I'm sick, and I think I when I coughed, I hit the wrong button. Ah, fuck. All right. Well, anyway, we'll recap.
Pick 6 K-Dubs? Okay, we've
that's
only
not
done
too bad.
2 picks then.
I think it was because I was slandering Aaron Rodgers and it got muted because of that. We'll just say that.
You didn't want him to hear.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so 6. So I picked the Cardinals at 7. Brendan picked the Packers at 6, which I wish we had that recorded because that was like definitely a shocking pick. Saints at number 5 was Liam's pick, and now it's my turn at number 4. I think I have to go with the Eagles.
Yeah.
I gotta go with the Eagles. I mean, I feel like this team and the next team, and probably the team after that, are probably all. I don't know. I think Eagles are kind of clear cut number 4, but the other 3, I think I can interchange all 3 of them at any position. It just depends on how they play out for the rest of the season, but.
I think I know, yeah.
Eagles at number 4. Do they have a new coach this year? They do, right? Or is it second year?
No, Sirianni's second year.
Sirianni's second, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Honestly, he's doing a good job turning that team around. Jalen Hurts looks like he can ball out pretty decently.
I mean, it wasn't really a case of like turning them around. He just had to pivot from Wentz to Hurts. Like, they were never bad.
Well, I mean, Wentz and Hurts are 2 very different quarterbacks that have very different arsenals. You know what I mean? So it's like...
No, yeah, but like it wasn't... He didn't come into a rebuilding situation. The Eagles were already like
they pivoted.
Decent team.
Yeah, and I think the Eagles also pivoted to the kind of football that you need to play now, which is like mobile-ass quarterbacks.
The dual threat.
I also think the Eagles have a decent amount of high-end talent. Like, the high-end talent. Like,
the high-end talent.
They've managed to make a couple decent trades. They have some good players. Like,
they got some good draft picks. They still have a rock of a fucking offensive line.
That's true. Yeah, we don't talk about that enough.
They have a rock of a fucking defensive line.
Yeah, they're a solid team.
How long has Fletcher Cox been there?
Oof.
He was drafted in 2012. He's been there 10 years. I feel like he's been there almost twice as long.
All right, Brendan, give us another spicy pick at number 3.
Well, I don't really think this is really spicy because we've come down to process of elimination. I think the other 2 teams have just proven more than this team has, but they're on the up and up, and I'm going to give number 3 to the Vikings.
Solid.
Yeah, that's solid. I mean, I think if I were in your position, I might have made a surprise, and
I think you can just make a clear-cut case that.
But
with the way 1 and 2 are set, it kind of just waited to fall. How the last 5 picks would fall ever since pick 5.
Yeah.
But the Vikings look like they're ready to play finally. I'm interested too to see if Zimmer really was the Rock Leathwaites now that they've taken him off. Jefferson's just going to be a star in this league for years to come. Cousins can get him there. I don't think he can get him over the hump, but I think he can get him there. And
they made it pretty far with Case Keenum that one year, so
yeah, and that was with Zimmer. So
yeah, you never know.
We'll see. Anything's possible in the land of the purple.
Yep,
I'm rooting for him. I like the Vikings.
I am too. I would like the Vikings to do something.
I feel like the Vikings, if they had, like, nothing against Kirk Cousins, but if the Vikings drafted like any of these quarterbacks that are currently starting right now, they'd be a scary team.
All right, number 2.
Number 2. That's a tough one.
I have it pretty clear cut in my head, but I want to see if
it might differ. It might differ from you.
I'd be excited if it did.
Because really, this is kind of me choosing like who's going to be number 1. So
yeah, and I feel like we also have a little bit of like
it's pretty much who's gonna win the NFC pennant.
We also have a grudge against a particular person.
Yes, we do, and I think I was kind of hoping to be able to put the Vikings at 2, and if I were in Brendan's position, I think I would have put this person at 3. I'm going with the Buccaneers at number 2.
Yeah, baby.
I totally agree.
And I think that I've had the Todd Bowles experience. It's not fun.
I think that's part of the reasoning for putting them at 2.
I think Tom Brady is 45. He's getting up there. He retired, came back, didn't even really participate.
His offensive line is like dropping like flies too.
Yes, and I believe his wide receivers are too. I think Godwin is hurt, isn't he?
Yeah.
Godwin's hurt. Yep.
Godwin's hurt.
So I think they're one more skill position injury away from
no Gronk.
No Gronk. They really don't have a tight end to speak of.
Let's look at all the questionables
on the defensive side. They also lost Ndamukong Suh, which isn't like a huge loss.
That's not a huge loss, but
no, I think this defense is still stacked. They also just added Logan Ryan, which I didn't even realize, and Logan Ryan was like our best defender for the last 2 years.
I think looking at him, like last year, like the Buccaneers have been one of those teams, sort of like the Rams, where the free agents, like the high end names, like anyone who's left who maybe is chasing a ring, they go to them. And I feel like it's almost like a good indicator of, where the players think the tides are turning. I really don't see many players saying, I want to be on the Bucs anymore. I think they realize that Brady is just doing this because he didn't want to be like, he missed the game. He didn't realize he's never going to be ready to retire, but he needs someone to just kind of yank him off the fucking stage. Bowles, I have no trust in him. Buccaneers at 2. As much as and not that it pains me, but because I've been ragging on the Rams and I've said, Super Bowl hangover, Super Bowl hangover, Super Bowl hangover. And while I don't necessarily think that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl again, I think that they have the best chance of finishing with the better record in the NFC. But I'll leave that last pick to you then.
Yeah. By default, we're going to go with the Rams at number 1, which I still think is an okay spot for them because they are the reigning Super Bowl champions. They also are like one of the few teams in the NFL that don't play anybody from their starting team during preseason. So I think some of that, might have been, week 1 rust because these guys didn't play any meaningful football during the preseason. They didn't do any like actual football snaps during preseason. And I know preseason football is not the same as like, week 1, week 2 football, but these guys needed to do something. Like it would have been better to do at least like one series or one drive during preseason, right? Just to kind of shake that rust off, just to kind of get an idea of the flow of the game, that kind of shit. I guess the Rams don't do that, which I didn't know. If you guys didn't know either.
No.
Yeah, they did. The 2/3 of their team didn't play at all in preseason. 2/3. So like all their starters, Aaron Donald, Stafford probably, their wide receivers, running backs, all that shit. It's crazy. But I think they'll adjust. They still got a lot of good pieces. They don't have Von Miller. They don't have OBJ. OBJ might re-sign when he gets healthy, though. That's kind of up there. That's a possibility. And if they get OBJ back and healthy halfway through the season, that could be huge for them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm okay with the standings. I think we can go through any personal gripes. I really don't have any, really. The bottom 5 or 6, I think, are pretty solid. The middle 5 or 6 are pretty solid. Top 5 or 6, I can agree with. I think Packers we ranked a little low, but I think after you sleep on it, I think the Packers are right where they should be at number 6.
I think the NFC is just it's a wackier conference.
It's overall just a weaker conference.
Yeah, and it can go many ways.
Yeah. I think there's like two
which makes it
conferences.
crazy. Like we're gonna be fucking Team Chaos over here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just look at last year. I mean, didn't we have a possibility that like a 9-7 team or like some really shit record was gonna make the playoffs just because?
Maybe.
Or actually, maybe it was just the NFC East or whatever. It was just like such a horrible division, but somebody had to win it. So like it was a bad record, but they got in anyway. There's going to be their NFC is one of those things where like we can have a situation where like teams with a better record are going to miss out on the playoffs because some division is just ass and they get in at like the 4th seed because they won their division.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it for today, I think. I mean, next week we'll just have to come up with another segment because we're done with the AFC power rankings.
Maybe quarterbacks.
We could do quarterbacks. I'm okay with that. That's fun. We could probably squeeze in all 32 in the same day.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll just have to move it a little quicker. But anybody else have anything to add on before we call it a day?
No, I think
so.
I'm good.
I think we're good.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody for watching TBS SportsCast.
Thanks, K-Dubs, for catching the audio problem.
Yeah, so thankfully it was just my mic, so they could hear you. It was just my microphone that was muted, so it's not as bad as it could have been.
Okay.
So they could still hear the picks. They could still hear most of like opinions. They just couldn't hear my bullshit. So they're better off for it.